पाकिस्तान और यूरोपीय यूनियन के साथ जो ताल्लुकात हैं वो अपने 60 साल मुकम्मल कर रहे हैं इस साल। और इस दौरान जो पाकिस्तान के जो जीएसपी से मुतालिक मामलात हैं, इसके अलावा जो और बाहमी ताउन के अमूर हैं, उस हवाले से बात करेंगे। हमारे साथ प्रोग्राम के सिलसिले में मौजूद है एम्बेसडर ऑफ यूरोपीय यूनियन रीना कियोनका। Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, for joining us. I was reading that you've come to Pakistan in July, probably 5-6 months ago.
End of June.
End of June. So
Yes.
have you settled in?
Yes, but it's as you just said a bit earlier, it's a very happening country.
We are a very, very vibrant country,
Yes.
especially if you look at all the political development. So first things first, 60 years of establishing diplomatic relations in 2022, where we've come a long way.
Yes.
In your opinion, what do you think? What are the major milestones or accomplishments that you'd like to mention here? Clocking these 60 years of our mutual relationship.
Yeah, well, 60 years it's a long time.
6 decades.
It's a solid age, as we would say. I'd say the one big accomplishment is the strategic engagement plan that was agreed in 2019, because that sets out really a blueprint for how we can develop the relationship in the years to come, and it focuses not only on the three pillars, the three main pillars, which are trade, political, and cooperation, but it also brings in a number of new areas that we would like to work on, and Pakistan would like to work on. So it's an agreed thing between us, and we'd like to go forward with that. So that's a big accomplishment, I would say. We can talk later about GSP Plus if you'd like. I think that's also a big.
And also, I think there are a lot of gaps over there. Some things that Pakistan need to probably take more benefit of it. That's going to be my next question. But first, if you could just go back to the SEP plan. So, how do you think that it redefines our relationship, especially? In what key areas? What are the specifics that we're talking about here?
Yeah. Well, what it brought in new areas are kind of the new reflections of the hot topics in international relations now, as opposed to what they were like 60 years ago. So we are both interested in talking about climate change, very topical, energy questions, connectivity, education, and culture. We just had a very successful Euro Village a few weeks ago. Science and tech, and of course migration and legal mobility as well. And so these are all areas that need developing, but where there's an interest, a mutual interest from the European Union as well as Pakistan to go ahead.
This year, I'm sure you must have witnessed all these, the level of devastation that we have faced due to floods, and Pakistan is a victim of the climate change that is rapidly happening all across the world, and we are probably generating the least amount of carbon footprint, yet we are on the receiving end. How can EU and Pakistan work more closely, and especially Pakistan and the region needs to understand that there is supposed to be a climate emergency now. It happened to us this year, it could happen to anyone in coming
Yes,
decades or so. It will not stop here, it won't stop here.
I couldn't agree more, and in fact at the COP27 at the UN conference in Sharm just last week, 2 weeks ago, the slogan that the Pakistan delegation used was what happens in Pakistan doesn't stay in Pakistan.
Absolutely.
And that's absolutely correct. And let me first say regarding the floods that the European Union was on the ground pretty much from the very start. And we have put together with our member states, which we call Team Europe, and Norway came in as well, 123 million euros into emergency assistance for those who were, hit by the devastation. I've been to Sindh to see the devastation, the water.
It's still not over.
It's not
the
over.
winter has just
Absolutely
come. My
not.
God, I don't know how we're going to go, past this, the new wave of devastation as a result of this temperature rise.
Exactly. The food crisis, the health crisis that's coming out of that now. I was driving last week from between Quetta and Karachi on the along the road, and you can still see areas where the waters have receded, but bridges are out, and it'll take a while. But you asked how we can work together. Well, we work together at the COP27, notably as well, and supported the global north, including the EU, supported this amazing diplomatic achievement that Pakistan was able to pull out of the hat with a lot of support and hard work, and that was the Loss and Damage Fund that was agreed at the COP. So that's something where we're helping out as well. But the European Union has something we call the Green Deal, and it has an external dimension as well. And for us, it's the most ambitious blueprint, really, to get to carbon neutrality. And we would like to work together with partners also to get in that direction.
But I still think that we need to do more in terms of creating awareness, because what we're dealing with right now is the aftermath of the devastation caused by these floods. How can we work closely together to kind of make the world understand that how it's affecting us and how this is going to spread out to the other countries in the region as well, and how the richer countries in the world have more to blame?
Well, we're the emitters, yeah, for sure. And that's the whole point of the talking about loss and damages, and it really it's about climate justice, right? The big emitters should be helping out those who are falling victim of climate change. The European Union, we're not perfect by any means, but we're a fairly low emitter. We put out about 9% of global greenhouse gas emissions, but we do finance about 30% of the public international financing for climate. And finance is the key. That's what's going to help out, and that will raise awareness as well.
Hopefully. So the GSP Plus, now we will come to that question. So Pakistan and European Union, we have this understanding and this, agreement called GSP Plus. It's very popular in Pakistan because we also, we discuss it quite often. Anyway, so the GSP Plus, it has helped enhance bilateral trades and economic ties between the both countries. How can Pakistan benefit further, from this treaty?
Yeah, it's a trade scheme. It's a trade preference scheme by which, if Pakistan fulfills 27 international conventions on governance, environment, labor law, and human rights, then it is able to export into the European single market around 66% of the tariff lines. It gets very technical, but basically what it means is that Pakistan's exports have risen by 65% since the start of this program in 2013, and about 1/3 of Pakistan's exports at all now go to the European Union. But as you say, we think that could be much, much higher.
Absolutely. We need to also step up. I do understand that. Pakistan should fully, take advantage of this initiative. Yeah.
And the way we think that could be done is to focus much more on tech. For instance, this country is full of coders and IT people and robotics people, and nobody knows about it. We need people like that in Europe. We also think that focusing on adding the value more so that more of that value stays here, and diversification. Right now, most of the goods that go to Europe as exports are textiles and leather, and that's great, but it could be expanded much further.